homicide rate versus the national average. The relative national average is down as it is in BC. So, both sides kind of can manipulate the data to make it look the way they want it to look. But I think it goes without saying that regardless of the trends, if you just look at the here and now and you look at the violent crime rate in DC versus other major metropolitan centers in the United States, it is considerably higher. So there is a problem regardless.
I mean, it's almost getting to the point too in certain parts where you're going to need a shit map to avoid them on the sidewalks, because that actually happens down in DC. In case for those that don't know, it's not like a whole fun trip when you have to like work there for a few weeks or a month at a time. Then you start to see the real nitty gritty. I've multiple times throughout my life looked at movies in DC just because it is absolutely beautiful. I can't state that enough. Like, it is just mesmerizing and amazing. But there is that factor of massive crime. Like, it's such a concentrated. I think that's the part that's missed. Is it's so concentrated that you don't have a way to escape it. So even small numbers have dire impacts on the populace.
So there's another question here, and this is one of the NIMBY is great. Okay, so there's an attitude with people sometimes if they see something they don't like, homelessness, high crime rate, they're like, get it out of my face, like, get it out of here, right? And so but like, where does it go? Like, it doesn't just go away, it just goes somewhere else, right? And for some people who are myopic and they're thinking, they're just like, well, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. I mean, if it's, it's someone else's problem, it's not my problem, so I don't care anymore, right? So this is a classic, so like, we'll house them, but not in DC. They're gonna have to go outside of DC. So what, like the suburbs in Virginia, like where all the CIA people live, this buildings or whatever the hell it's I don't even know what it is. But he's just like adamant they are not in DC anymore, but they don't just go away. They go somewhere else. And so what does that mean? This is what NIMBYs, the NIMBYs never want to answer. They just care about what's important to them here and now. They don't care about the ramifications for others and the impacts of what they wish to have done and how that can just be great. Because you're gonna have NIMBYs wherever they go to the next place, they're gonna have NIMBYs there, and we're just gonna have this like a hobo kind of troop that just sort of like wander the northeast. What's going on?
Yes, John, I'd like to say something about post-COVID-19, after everybody was told to stay home, particularly service workers. We don't talk about misinformation that we sat here and hated on and constantly tips very interesting. It's a nice change.
But Adam, back to your point, and John, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that was supposed to. But Adam, to your point, I don't think you can put shanty towns in DC. I'm trying to for a ghetto area that's in Maryland, but I mean, like a lot of DC itself, I do think it's incumbent on states to say, hey, you receive federal dollars to help deal with your homeless programs. You receive massive amounts of beyond DC to build these institutes in already concentrated city. It's not very large. Look at the square miles of it. It's not a big city. It's not one of our biggest cities, at least land-wise.
Okay, so then Baltimore. Okay, well, Baltimore, what's going to happen? It's just going to be Baltimore.
Baltimore's already a shit show. So,
yeah, we've all seen the wire. Okay, so you know what? Delaware is a relatively quaint place. So that's the one.
Are you just incentivizing homelessness by making them? I don't
agree, Adam, that a lot of people are homeless by choice and design. Because it is a choice at some point, to start picking up meth, right? It's a choice at some point, to go into that liquor store and come out with that little brown paper bag full of a bunch of that devil's juice. I feel like there are choices in life. Like, I think this is great. I think this is great. I think that this is great in Washington. I really do. I would personally like to see, Donald Trump tear gas another crowd that opposes him and getting out the way so he can take a picture. I feel like there needs to be a sense of order that is restored. I want to see Washington, D.C. turn into an Instagram Gen 2 sweet commercial, okay? Gen 2 holiday commercial, okay? I want to see the National Guard chasing a bunch of fat liberals through Georgetown. I want to see people getting arrested. I think that it's time to where people can keep complaining about Donald Trump. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
I agree with you, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm just trying to deal with the real politics here, right? Like, so people, what do you do with the people that still continue to make these choices? What do you do? That's the question here. What do we do with them? Not like what they should be doing, but what the people who aren't doing what they should be doing. What is
Sober up or go to jail. Simple.
Okay, so jail. All right, jail it is. Then is there anything past?
Yeah, and I think that we need to tighten up our prison department. The fact that people are able to make whoosh, and the fact that people are able to, smuggle drugs in their box braid, wing extensions, that to me is unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. So in theory, you're not going to be able to go into the liquor store in prison. So at some point, you're going to have a moment of clarity and sobriety for which we can hope that through giving people constructive, useful tools when they get out, they don't return back to the prison. If you're camping on city property and you're intoxicated, absolutely, that is a crime.
What if you're not intoxicated?
Very few of the homeless are. If they're well, I don't think that we have a conversation enough about this. People keep calling addiction a disease. Well, you force people to go get COVID vaccines for a freaking flu. So why can't you force these people with this so-called disease that is socially destructive? Why don't you force them into a clinical program to address that issue?
There's no money in that. There's no profit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So it's like, would you support Trump?
In California for years now. Absolutely.
Yeah, I get that sense too that a lot of people across the spectrum and on the right too are in favor of putting public money into this sort of stuff. I don't think there's actually not that advice give anyone happy to pay their taxes to build these sort of
and maybe set up a system to where when the person eventually does make it and they reach a certain income threshold, that a certain percentage of their pay in excess of what they need to survive should be paid back to the government in some portion to actually pay for that care.
What do you think?
I would not speak so freely about that, Adam, in terms of the issue with it. I would be happy to have my tax dollars go to that if there was an effective method, right? But what worries me is that the $25 billion in California that's lost for homelessness, and then homelessness increases after that money is given. There's just so much money that is wasted and spent to have the outcomes that are exactly opposite as intended. And so I'm not ready to give a ton of money until it's clear where it's going to go.
But maybe if Republican controlled Congress and all that stuff, maybe there's some sort of maybe the Republicans can do it, or is it just it doesn't matter which party, it's just the nature of the beast, the bureaucracy that they're just going to squander it.
Yeah, I would afraid it doesn't matter, and not only does it not matter because government inefficiency, but look at rates of sobriety among people with certain types of drugs, right? Like even with the best of resources, the best facilities, private, there's a lot of issues that we just don't really know how to fix this. And so, until we do it, it's very hard to know where to put.
The solution.
You just end up like a one flu or
Book club. A lot of these people sitting on the streets are lacking education. It's apps like this, people like you, who will take the time and be caring and compassionate, We don't just talk endlessly and have heated conversations on campus. This is the modern psychiatric holding facility. This is the mental health facility you're talking about.
There we go. Well, problem solved.
Yeah, I think there's no magic bullet here, right? So it's sort of,
These depressed homeless people in the streets are doing, they're depressed.
You know, there are plenty of depressed people in America that don't allow themselves to go on tents on the sidewalk and harass people or walk around tourist destinations begging for money with tattered clothing to the point.
but there are those who do, and they're not going away. So I mean, this that move by Trump is like 1/2 of the equation. It's not actually and the solution.
Can you screenshot what the results of the poll was? Because I wanted to look at a lot of that. It seemed like a lot of people approved of the release of the national authorization of the National Guard in DC. The narrative that crime has gone down is not really substantiated too much by the data. They said, yeah, compared to the spring of 2024 is back blue. So I can see where that would naturally occur, but also it did a per capita surge between cities of the same size as Washington D.C. compared their crime, and I put it in the chat. And we don't have replays, so if there's any links that you guys are sharing in the chat and other people are interested in, please grab them, because that's not going to be transferred anywhere from the ribbons.
I get the sense Baltimore is going to take presidents. That's my guess. That's where that's what it.
When I glanced at the data, Portland was up there. Let me see where the link is. Yeah.
No, I know Washington D.C. is relatively, I think it's one of the highest in major cities. But in moving these people out of D.C., I think Baltimore is really going to go.
They're just going to transfer the crime to another major city.
Well, that's inevitably what happens when you move these people out of D.C. I mean, it solves the D.C. problem, but it just moves the problem somewhere else. That's the problem.
I mean, is Guam off the table? Why don't we send these people to Guam? I'm just saying there needs to be an incentive to not allow these people just to slip back into the rest of the main streets of the mainland America.
Yeah, but what about the law?
What? You know, Dr. Adams,
Eastern Denver has a crime of identical crime out of Nashville, Tennessee.
Downtown Los Angeles. So I think that, I mean, Hawaii's off the table. We need them for tourism. Puerto Rico, I feel like, you know, there's a very interesting history there, and there's also the necessity of preserve tourism. I feel like Guam is probably going to be the best option to set up operations to get these people sober, get them introduced back into society, and then we can fly them back to the mainland. But I feel like drastic measures need to be taken at this point for the people to actually take this seriously.
Dr. Adams, I'm sorry, but spending all that fuel to get people to Paradise Island, aka the land of snakes known as Guam.
This will get you.
Oh, I don't know. It's hard. Oh, one more compliment. It's hard and it's property. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to make a really bad joke about how long this point is. Possible initiatives failed to solve homelessness crisis in the city. You can't just allow the last resort because allegedly the food was made with flags. Maybe we can use them as toilet free homeless.
Exactly. What about bum fights, Adams? You know, media is big business now. We could just do, national bum fights around the country, issue licenses to independent contractors and startup entrepreneurs that want to do gladiatorial bum fights and make that into very popular YouTube channels across the whole country.
That's a very fair point. People are already monetizing off of bum fights on social media. I imagine a future world where we're all living on a $1,000 train. We have no food, but we can feed the homeless because they'll be our former protein bombs.
Let's send 1 million of the homeless in America to Gaza and clean up all the rubble. That's a big cleanup operation.
No, they're just gonna set up tents over there.
Well, not when you got Jews with rifles and hand grenades telling them to go clean up that, block over there and all that rubble over there. So I'm really looking forward to today because today could be the first break in your Clubhouse multi-5-year experience where you will actually be asked to read a book.
What book we're reading from?
We're reading from the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, the Book of Changes or the Great Way, a mystical wisdom book of Chinese political and philosophical theory.
John, should we do that before or after the rational discussion?
It's your call. I mean, people are here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It really doesn't matter when you decide to ask people to start reading.
I'm just wondering what might be a better time to do it. Should we read this before going into the rational discussion group or do it after?
It's up to you because people are here till 5 in the morning. So it really doesn't make a difference to me. A 24-hour cycle, people are here all day long as if they don't have a job and they are homeless. It really doesn't make a difference when you decide to say, hey, everybody, guess what? We're going to start reading a book.
That's a good point. I say we do this because I don't think we're going to be reading long. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people that have the material in front of them to read. So in 5-minute intervals, I'm going to guess that we probably do about 20 minutes worth of reading today. Is that about right?
I'd say so.
I'll budget 30 minutes, and we'll do the 30 minutes prior to the rational discussion group. That way, after the reading, everybody can be all worked up and educated, and they can head into the rational discussion group where people like books, and Anson Burlingame will help us with an antidote to the critical thinking forum, where we will have a chat open.
I think I'm dead.
They don't allow Canadians in there.
They don't allow Canadian ethnics to think that the Democrats are the fault from both times.
Well, I'll tell you, you would be a welcome addition to the rational discussion group, and it's pinned above, so please join. Has the National Guard started chasing anybody yet, Roger? I don't know, but Anson's here. Anson, you excited? We're going to talk about Trump in D.C. today.
Oh, yeah. This is the first time I've ever done it, and I actually watched this whole press conference. And I learned a lot by watching it, but I'll talk about that. I got in here, what meeting are you talking about doing for 30 minutes before?
Yeah, before that, this room will just basically turn into a reading room at 1:30 Pacific time. And John, can you tell them the book that we're reading from?
We're going to read from the Tao Te Ching, which is a Chinese philosopher named Lao Tzu, who deals with wisdom, a mystical approach, and it deals with psychology, governance, and basically everything that's good underneath the sun.
Yeah, no, it'll be before that. It'll be a warm up. We're trying to do a thought experiment where we're trying to encourage people on Clubhouse to do something called reading. John,
I agree with that.
John, can you remind people of this invention that came around a long time ago called books? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, prior to the advent of this medical device technology corporation known as Clown House, aka an automatic dopamine dispenser, people used to open what's called a BOOK, which is a book. It usually is a binded object with maybe sometimes hundreds of pieces of paper in it with printed letters, which are words which string together concepts. And inside these magic things called books, they are technically prior databases. These are storage retrieval devices where if you pick one up and you read it with comprehension and integrate it into your brain, you can become more intelligent and use that information to adapt to your circumstances to the environment. It's called a book.
Yeah, we'll explore that a little further at 1:30 Pacific time, right here in this room. We will open a book. We will read a book. We'll see how it goes.
So the protest started in DC. It was live streaming of, freedom of fascism, sit-ins and marches and stuff happening in Brussels, backlash and stuff.
Sharing the PDF books that we're supposed to be reading.
Yeah, I looked it up last night. It's readily available. Dao Beijing PDF. Google it. You can find it. Or we'll decide which one we're going to all use because there's many different translations.
Type it into the chat here so I can write it down.
Did you guys see that Dr. Phil has joined the ice raids?
I don't know anymore.
Oh yeah, you guys hear about that?
No, it's not.
I'm telling you, nobody. And I don't know if you've noticed this and why, but like, I almost feel like Dr. Phil, in the first time in his television career, he's getting the least amount of press right now because people in Hollywood are so pissed off that he is going on ice raids. He's filming on ice raids. Like, dude, yeah, he's talking to people, he's helping them set up. Like, I'm telling you, like, Dr. Phil has joined the ice raids.
Well, he was on Bill Maher on Friday, and Bill Maher kind of went after him on that, and kind of, he claimed on Bill Maher that he doesn't agree with the way that, because Maher was emphasizing all his, families, and his pushback was, well, when, a parent is a drunk driver with kids in the car, that they split the families there too. It's just like, this is the law, and if you break the law, you're going to split families. So now he doesn't agree. He admitted that he doesn't agree with the policies. He would have different policies, but he was being consistent to the logic of what the policies are and what they're doing, and he did defend the ICE agents for just doing their job, and that the ambassadors to help reduce the chances of being doxxed and putting themselves and their families at risk, etc. and so on. So it was an interesting, nuanced conversation. He was clear that he doesn't agree with the policies, though. So he's not just like 100% behind all of this stuff. He's basically documenting it.
He's also to some degree cooperating, and that is just kind of looking at somebody who works so entrenched in Hollywood. That man is brave. I'm sorry. For him to do what he's doing right now, that man is very, very, very brave. He's not only sacrificing his career, but also his sons. And, the whole entire family is making a sacrifice for him doing this. So I think that Dr. Phil is very, very brave.
Well, and shout out to Bill Maher again for kind of providing as the president was in space for Dr. Phil in this time of him not being popular. And I think it's a testament to Bill Maher, who's pushing back against this sort of approach that you just ostracize anyone that doesn't fit the narrative
check. And the fact that he is still standing 10.
Hey, what's up, Anson? Did you try to chat with me? Or is this just like, Anson? I don't know, you're on mute. Hello?
It's like walls or securely on the table.
Well, nine knows what's coming next. You know, they're gonna have a bunch of women come out and say, "Come to the film club today," and all this other bullshit. Like, we all know what's coming next. He's been speaking out. He's been semi-famous for like the past year or so. Right.
Anson.
Hey, there you are. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
I wanted to chat a little bit offline with you. In the first room we had, you introduced yourself as a congressman running for office and so forth. And I don't, and I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for others. It's not intended as a campaign plan. And I understand basically what your views are and everything. But for example, you sounded like you were campaigning, and in doing so, you strayed from the topic at hand, and you started talking a lot about national debt and all that, all good topics, and I all understand that as a campaign platform. But I hope we can stay on topic and forget the broader subjects to the extent possible, and stay focused on the topic at hand. Does that make any sense to you? I'm not trying to talk down to you or anything. I'm just trying to
Sure, yeah.
find an accommodating way where I hope we can stay on topic, address the topic, agree it's a problem or not, as you understand. Up front, agree on the problem, if it's a problem or not, and then stay on topic and try to solve it, and hopefully gain a consensus. And not going a mile wide and an inch deep with broader issues. If we can work on that together, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. I have a tendency to always go back to 37 trillion dollars.
So do I, and I really like to get to the basics. And of course, the basics are really broader than the specific topic at hand. But I really, because the basic principles, if you will, have to be the foundation for the solution to the problem that anybody's going to propose. But again, if we keep going a mile wide and an inch deep, then we stray from the topic at hand, and it makes it almost impossible to see if we can form a consensus of some sort or another, which is really my goal.
I would be willing to bet that the topic of Gary Baumgarten's room and thus rational discussion will be this National Guard deployment in DC.
Oh, I'm sure it will. Be. There's no doubt about that. Without even trying. I mean, Gary's going to go after that, and we all know what the position in that room is going to be. And you already heard me speak, I think, where I'm opposed to the use of military forces for law enforcement. But you'll see a modification of that position as well today. But I'm not trying to get out in front of the room. But there's no doubt in my mind that I hope we get some strong lefties in there. Get one of those protesters on the streets in D.C. that somebody just posted a YouTube of, and let her rip in the rational thinking room, and see if we can find some consensus. But anyway, thanks for
sounds good. Okay, sounds good.
See you later. Bye bye.
Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.
The master manipulator.
Yeah, no, I'm just adding in with you guys. No, what a picture, Wow.
At the press conference, I'm sure one of the questions, because it looks like it went on for like an hour and 30 minutes, questions about like how soon we could see the boots on the ground here doing their thing, National Guard? Like, is it gonna? Surely it's like starts immediately. Like, are we gonna see this like now or?
Well, he's taking control of the Capitol Police, and so his integration can roll out. There will be states that said he can take National Guard and use other. And then you have people don't remember this, but Nancy Pelosi, and this is really ridiculous. She championed for an increase in Capitol Police spending post January 6th, including to building a in California, which I'm unsure why the Capitol Police needed a headquarters in California, but she also expanded federal aid, money, recruitment, et cetera, because it was woefully underfunded, which I can agree. Some of the shit that they were given was like bullshit, according to the IG reports. But it just, now there's a massive wave of Capitol Police in DC and services, and the integration of the National Guard, like I said, it's going to be more of like a protection area. Like, are you going to commit fuck shit? Are you going to try to carjack somebody with a National Guard soldier sitting there watching you? Like, you're not going to get far. You're not going to get away with it, and that's pretty much what they're looking to stop. And unfortunately, this is the day and age in which we live.
I should probably say this for Ruth this afternoon, but is anybody familiar with the posse homicide? Like, is because maybe DC's not a state, I don't know. Is this going to be problematic for what he's trying to do? Because doesn't that kind of just like prevent military forces from intervening and civil law enforcement authorities? Nobody.
So the act doesn't apply to the National Guard.
It does if it's federalized. It doesn't if it's not federalized, but it does. And they indicated in the article that it's federalized. Because it's going to be in conjunction with the FBI and other agencies as well.
I mean, so like, yeah, you're right. When it's federalized, yes, it can apply. However, there's ways to, we'll just say, like the short story, the Insurrection Act gives policies and opens up areas for the presidents to utilize it. Biden most notoriously used this same measure, but nobody on the left was screaming that, you know, they weren't going and saying, oh, we shouldn't have 25,000 troops in DC. So the National Guard in DC, I'm hesitant with it, but it's the National Guard. If Trump was sending in, let's say, I don't know, the 75th Regiment of the Army, then I would be more concerned. But we utilize the National Guard all the fucking time across the world. And times they're federalized and you don't even know it. Such as really, like we utilize these things in a massive way. And people are just kind of like, oh no, he's just doing it to take over control of the country. And it's like, you do realize we do this shit all the time. The Coast Guard could fall under federal interdictions and utilized to clean up oil spills. That happens, but nobody complains about it.
Yeah, well, and the thing of it is too, like I'm wondering, I mean, because DC is not technically a state either. And the whole point, Matt, was I think, to prevent impingement on states' rights to govern their laws.
Correct. It's a district. And again, even DC having a mayor and city council is a new thing. And it hasn't been a great experience, except for the first mayor. I'll give him credit. The first mayor of DC was he was kind of smart and he had some common sense in how he was trying to manage it. And there's been a couple DC mayors that have popped up, and then there's been some really shitty ones. And mostly the majority of them have been shitty. And they haven't been able to kind of bring into tow the fact that this city is, like, I don't know how to put it, it's the pearl of the United States. If you're going, New York City is a big tourist, LA, San Francisco, these are all great cities. Chicago, you get some places in Texas it's just fucking hot. Florida, Orlando, these are all tourist spots. But the pearl of the U.S. is literally DC. And
if you cannot have safety for the tourists, for the people who decree your laws, the people you champion for, the lobbyist groups that you want to promote your environmental causes or your gun rights, then I'm at a loss on it. And if the mayors are and the councils are like, you know what, we need to prioritize transgender rights over carjacking, I have an issue on some of the philosophies. And I mean, even the January 6th debacle should show some of the, I guess, the issues at play in DC, particularly with the council, and you know, some of their priorities seem to be skewed. So I don't agree with Trump necessarily, but I understand the rationale behind it, because again, I think DC should be our safest city. I'm just going to stick with that. That's my line in the sense. It should be the safest city in the entire United States.
I want to be mindful of this.
So, like even before Biden, we've instituted military personnel into DC multiple times throughout its history, and it's just I often get confused because when I hear the rhetoric, because even like look at the Democrats' platform, like post January 6th, we need to have an expansive police force. We need to make sure that there's no more attacks on the Capitol building by these far right wing groups. You had it all draped. You had soldiers there. Even post 9/11, we had soldiers almost on every rooftop throughout DC, at every entranceway, armed. So DC in itself is where collectively we go to get a sense of our country's origins, to see where it's going for the future, to hopefully realize the past and some of the great achievements and some of the low points of it. And it has a lot of opportunities to do so. I don't understand why we have politicians in like the city council wanting to prioritize shit that is just virtue signaling instead of like, hey, I want cops to target carjackers. That's not a top priority. Like, we want to arrest these people. 200 and plus murders in a year. I want those homicides solved. I want to find out. I want to know that our citizens and people can walk these streets at night safely.
We got a new poll up.
Isn't New York having their mayoral election this year?
Yeah, they just
Yeah, the primary, right?
they narrowed down their candidates, and the front runner is the commie,
Mandami.
Mandami the commie.
Yeah, apparently he had a press conference 4 hours ago saying that he was going to be Trump's worst nightmare, and he's going to be difficult with the administration. He's going to arrest Netanyahu. Like, this man is absolutely insane.
I have to tell you, I would love to see him arrest Netanyahu, not because I think that it's a good idea, it would just be very, very interesting to see what the fallout of such
Mayor would end up going to prison massively. He'd lose his office, and there would be no protection from New York State because that would become a federal matter. He can't actually do that, and it would be really dumb for an officer in New York State cop to follow it. I doubt they would really want to. Could you imagine that? That cop going, hey, I have 15 years in. You want me to go arrest this building? Are you fucking insane? No, I ain't touching it. Here's my badge. I'm not going to jail for this shit.
At that point, I feel like the protocol would be the police chief would be the one to instruct any officers to be arresting him, correct?
Well, first the mayor can't. Like, he can't. Billy, he has qualified immunity. So, I mean, first off, I mean, you're not going to do that. Secondly, we're going to have protection details around it. Yeah, just like we do every other dignitary that is a high profile. We offer protection. So, I mean, if you think New York City police are going to go toe to toe with, say, Secret Service, good luck. Have fun. That shit ain't going to go out for even military personnel like the Marine Corps. And the Marine Corps Protection Services, to their credit, have never lost a person that they have never lost a package. They have never failed to protect their packages. And even to their death, they will go toe to toe and have never failed. So, good luck for the New York City and this mayor thinking he's going to get a bunch of cops and say, hey, let's go against this. And then you're going to see that in front of you. The most winning fucking team in all of military history who's never failed. Yeah, good luck. Have fun. Let's see how that works out for you.
Can I say something about the, when we say $1 billion, I think the best way to say $1 billion is $999 million. And instead of $1 trillion, you say 999 billion because, trillion or even $1 billion are really big numbers that I don't think people necessarily can grasp because it kind of dumbs down the amount when you say $1 trillion or $1 billion. I think keeping everything in millions is a much better way for people to kind of understand the fiscal crisis.
I'm going to tell you something here. The scary thing about that is never going to solve it. You'll never get people to listen. No one fucking cares. Like, the general population of America just does not fucking care what they really don't give a damn. They don't care if it's a trillion, billions, bazillions. And you could add 40 fucking zeros after whatever number you want to put up, and they're going to just look at you like, yeah, and that's a problem. Now, if you wanted to address saying, hey, we need to tackle Social Security, we need to stop it, because not only is it an endless toilet bowl that just sucks money out and doesn't replenish it, then you have to look at the system and the problem that you have with the people. So applying for Social Security, the fact that you're not guaranteed to get it, that you can be restricted and removed, the fact that you have to pay into the system and that it will not necessarily go for all of your children or your kids or your spouses for all time, like this money will not be returned to you, and that there's a better way forward. So before you go crying, which you do a lot of, John, you just cry about the debt and you just people don't give a fuck, and the rest of America is living in debt. They all recognize it. What you have to do is offer a better way forward. And to date, I have yet to hear anybody offer a better way forward that Americans could actually grasp and that legislators could actually put on the table, on the House floor, and get it passed.
So you've accused me of crying and screaming about the debt. All I gotta say is stop borrowing and stop spending.
I want to bring some context to the debt conversation. Is anyone want to take a guess on what duration a million seconds would cover? Anybody have a guess on how much time a million, 1 million seconds is? Any guesses? All right, I'll tell you. A million seconds is 11 days, 13 hours, and 46 minutes. Anyone want to guess what a billion seconds is? Anyone?
A year.
No, a billion seconds is 32 years. I don't know if that's a surprising number to you, but how about a trillion? Anyone want to guess what a trillion seconds is? dollars or millions of dollars. It's a pretty big number. And so when you think about $100 trillion of unfunded liabilities, that's a pretty large number. Wouldn't you agree?
I love this, especially in contrast to remember the 4 years.
I mean, I was just, pulled into a private. I don't want to say with who, but I was told stop campaigning and stop talking about the debt.
Good advice.
Well, you see, when people tell me not to do something, guess what opposite effect that has?
Popcorn.
You should keep going, John. You're gonna win. You're gonna win, John. Keep going. Don't give up. If that's the psychology, then shouldn't we tell people not to read books?
No.
Watch, comment, music, book.
No, I mean, reading books, if you suffer from depression or if you suffer from stupidity or you suffer from lack of income, therapeutically speaking, I've been to many psychologists and I've had a lot of fat lesbos write down notes. I've had them give me little 3-sheeters. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. The thing that has helped me most in life are these amazing external hard drives called books.
Let's just make it all the old.
You know what might be a fun book to read? We might even get Pima to turn a page of a book. If we were to go and look up some classic Murray Rothbard or maybe even Lysander Spooner, we might be able to get Pima to join a stage and do a thing called reading books.
Might want to start with Cat in the Hat before graduating up there.
Remember when we were kids and they had that little cartoon explaining what a bill was? Not just a bill.
House Rock.
I can't remember that. I would love for Pima to do a commercial about what is anarchy and explain it very simply to children in a cartoon format. And we can play it on Saturday mornings. I think that'd be amazing. I think that should be the last person to explain anarchy to children. I wonder if she wants to come up and explain anarchy to us like we are.
See, look at the enthusiasm.
I'm listening for it now. Taking her grandma say hi. Hi. This is Grandma. We just got out of the shower. We're cleaning up. Don't worry, it's nice and neat in here. But wait, if you're serious, Roger, I have a children's book, voluntarist version, and I would love to do.
Well, I don't know if we can commit to a weekly reading of this nonsense, but we would definitely dedicate at least one room to it. Just so we can.
Yeah, I'll take whatever I can get. Yes.
That's what she said.
Tried to put it in the chat, but the best way to describe $100 trillion is 99 trillion, 999 billion, 999 million.
Do you think that this problem's going to get easier when we start counting quadrillions?
I think that's like the total global wealth. It's like a couple quadrillion. And if you go to usdebt.org, one of the numbers is hidden assets, which is at over 200 trillion. So, to say that the country is broke when we could actually, the federal government could liquidate assets, in terms of like maybe $1 trillion. I mean, do you know how difficult it is to actually liquidate and sell $1 trillion worth of U.S. assets? And that would only pay off 1/37 of the liabilities.
Don't you have to have a buyer?
Oh, buyers will come out. Believe me, there's enough buyers out
And
there.
you know this how?
At 1 trillion, 100% there's.
In its entirety. You know that
Globally,
there is
yeah.
a market for $1 trillion in U.S. property.
100%.
100 trillion.
No, not 100 trillion. A trillion, they can liquidate and sell $1 trillion worth of U.S. assets within probably 6 months.
You guys think it's weird that when you put a house up for sale in the U.S., you have like Chinese people that literally climb out from underneath the wood pile with like cash in hand? Like, where did all that cash come from?
100%.
It came from us, and it came from them. It came from the central banks. My friend bought a house in Los Angeles for $1 million, knocked it down, built a new house for $800,000, and sold it for $2.5 million to a 18-year-old Chinese girl. Where did she get $2.5 million? Was it her parents of the Chinese Communist Party that gave her the cash to park it overseas because they themselves are afraid of some kind of asset seizure or forfeiture?
I don't think that you're really fully admitting how much cheap Chinese shit that people purchase in America, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally. So, I mean, could we maybe perhaps start there?
Adam, how much Chinese stuff do you think is in John's PTR alone?
Oh, the whole thing.
No, just the the hat, the
With
flags,
exception of the MAGA
the
hat,
shirts.
with the exception, if that's an authentic MAGA hat that was purchased,
that's
from
a
the Donald
China.
Trump website, then yes, that's definitely American made. But if it's one of those that, you find just like at the swap meets down in, places around middle America, no, that's definitely Chinese.
It's made in China.
John, you should do on your YouTube, just go around the room and figure out where all this stuff is made. And then maybe do an auction, see if you can sell the cheap Chinese shit.
Well, I have noticed that the quality of products has gone down over the years through Amazon and eBay because all of this mass-produced Chinese shit, in China, in the factories, they eventually say, you know what, we can make this even dumber, simpler, and less costly to us. Let's downgrade the quality of this shit even more because the Americans will just keep buying it regardless.
Not only downgrading, but the dangerous chemicals, they don't have regulations like we do. And that's pretty dangerous.
Like we do, huh? Like the COVID-19 vaccines.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, because putting a piece of fabric on your skin is a lot less dangerous than injecting an experimental cocktail into your bloodstream.
Why is nobody talking about that CDC shooting on this app?
Why aren't people talking about
Was this suspect the wrong color?
No, I don't think that's what it is. I think that given the grievances of the suspect and the average person on this app that supported the vaccine, I just don't think that they want to open up that can of worms.
Let me ask you a question. Why was the Fort Campbell shooter? Why did he have a beard, and why did the guy who tackled him also have a beard? Mind you, both soldiers on an active duty military base with beards. I never heard of that. You ever heard of it?
It could be a new rule if they were people of color. I know that the Oakland Police Department made an exception, even though they had a 100+ year rule about you had to be clean shaven. They got exceptions for people of color because they get razor bumps. So maybe it's something like that.
No, it's exactly.
Is it the razor bump?
It is. Somebody told me on a YouTube channel. It's called skin chitlet or whatever. You get a medical exemption because your skin breaks out when you shave with a blade. But I don't understand. Why don't you just use an electric shaver?
Look, there are clean shaven black men that don't have razor bumps. This should not be that hard to figure out.
This is a new topic for you, Alex.
Stan. Sorry, Stan.
Right. The thing is that you can always like you have the base fire. I think it's the Federal Reserve. Right? So it is not the problem of you cannot fight fire. It's a problem of the if you buy yourself, the purchasing power will decrease. So if you, now you see like $57 trillion debt, right? What if you cut it by half? It's not by cutting by half, it's the value of the debts going down by half. Maybe issue maybe like more money to the system. So you have a decreasing purchasing power, and then automatically the debt is going to be the value of the debt will be decreasing value. So
Stan, can I just say, you remind me of the guy from Dark Knight that says, I'm very good at calculation.
what's that supposed to be?
Have you ever seen The Dark Knight?
Yeah.
Do you remember the
Get Brad cash.
do you remember the Asian guy?
Yeah.
And the stereotype about how Asians are supposed to be good at math. You remember that?
Yeah, the accountant.
Yeah. He said, I'm very good at calculation. It was probably the most racist thing ever said in the movie.
I mean, in reality, it is every time it has problems, the Fed will inject liquidity into the system. So there will never be a default, so-called default in the debt. But the problem is that when you inject like a few years ago, 2020, right? You inject enormous amount of liquidity into the system, so the purchasing power is going to be decreased. That reflected the inflation. So going forward, we will see more and more the injection of liquidity. The stock market is going to be going up, and purchasing power is going down. And then the fact that the stock market is going up, it's you can see that in a different angle. You have less purchasing power of the stocks. That also means the same amount of money you can buy less stocks.
Stan, don't you think the U.S. Congress can take action and prevent the U.S. government from doing deficit spending by limiting them from raising the debt ceiling?
It has been raised like 100 times before.
I know, but what I'm saying is you think that it's just going to keep going on forever. Meanwhile, there are Congress people and senators who are actively resisting the raising of the debt ceiling and telling Congress and the government to get its fiscal prudence into action.
Every time you get raised the debt ceiling, I think there's no one time that eventually you keep the ceiling at a certain level, and then the spending gets cut, right? It always gets raised up.
So,
Wow. Stan, are you going to stick around for the book reading that we're going to do today? We're going to read Chinese philosophy here. Is that something that might interest you?
Wow. Okay, well, how's that? What's the name of it?
John, tell me.
the Tao Te Ching, or the Book of Changes in a Great Way by Lao about soon?
Oh, I am reading something like similar recently. Sort of like interpreting the book.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really fun exercise to get Americans that don't typically read to pick up a book and of all things to read a Chinese philosopher. I think it's going to be a very good experiment.
Maybe just my internet will be kind of anytime, so I'm not sure how can I stay. But I'm trying.
What are they ration your internet there?
No, I'm using Starlink, but my generator does not get enough power into the battery. I am using the battery to power the Starlink, but I'm in the middle of the nowhere.
Couldn't you hook it up to like an exercise bike and just pedal?
Stan, what do you think about, if you look at the foreign holders of U.S. debt, like China, it's 2 trillion or 1.6 trillion, something like that. Like, at what point, when the U.S. debt gets to 50 trillion, does some politician, whether it's a president, says, you know what, the Chinese are doing currency manipulation. And you know what we're going to do? We are going to dissolve the debt that they claim they owe us because they're stealing it in the back end from us. So at what point does global investors, aka other countries and other major banking institutions, start losing faith and confidence in the United States because they feel that their investments are essentially being stolen by runaway rampant inflationary spending?
If you can leave the holdings of oil or central banks, the trend is going down. The trend of holding assets is going down, even though the interest rate high, like around 5%, 4%, 5%. But especially China, it stopped the top of the holding. I think it's around like 2014 or something. The Chinese leaders be aware of the problem you mentioned, like almost 10 years ago. So they switched the spending from buying the debts into one initiative. So spending like the strategy is to spending those US dollars into like projects all over the world, and then the proceeds, right? The proceeds from these projects go like in line with the inflation. So all these projects, all these companies, they pay the payments will be, the bonuses will be in line with the purchasing power of that time. But in terms of like, if you know what I mean, right?
We found the carrier for the song. Thank you.
I like to stand cheap this morning.
Sam, what would a Shiba Inu do if the Shiba Inu was the president of the United States? What would a Shiba Inu do for its people?
You do the same as current president. You listen to the lobby groups, the Jews.
The Jews?
I mean, you listen to these lobby groups, follow whatever the order is.
Oh, I see. It would just want to go out, take a poop, have its poop picked up, get its meal, get a cozy little bed, and, just dream of other little cute Shiba Inus instead of taking orders from the Jews.
Maybe. I have no idea.
Do you think other lobbying groups like the Iranian lobbyists or the Russian lobbyists or the Syrian lobbyists or Chinese lobbyists, why do you think the Americans are always taking orders from what you call the Jews?
I'm not sure that the true reason is the joke actually. I'm sorry, but I mean the lobbying rules are real. I read a book the call how to I don't know how to pronounce the KOCH, the coach Coughlin, Coughlin. He describes the story of the cock industry, how they getting rich and how they influence the politics. For example, the oil refining factory of his of the group, they have very big issues in pollutions, and then they push some regulations and then they prevent other refineries to build up new factories. And then why the regulations does not apply to the old factories, the old refineries, so they can continue to make profits. So that. So very interesting, very interesting how these big corporations influence the parties. And how they threat to stop funding the senators, etc., etc.
So Stan, I asked Rob the other day, what would be 10 ways to essentially increase revenue and pay down the debt? What do you think AI told you?
I heard the first one, the heart of outer space universe. I don't think that's feasible.
Well, that's what AI told me. Then I asked for the contrarian positions, and it gave me a whole different set of positions, which are really the normal positions, like fossil fuel extraction at a more cost-efficient method, things like that.
Okay, interesting. But all these are linear. I mean, these are linear solutions. So the debt is an exponential, it grows in an exponential way. So you cannot solve a exponential growth problem with linear growth problem.
Got it.
Solution.
I think Einstein is quoted as saying the greatest scientific revelation of all time is compound interest.
Why for example, the fossil fuel, the exploration, you can only carry on these projects linearly, expenditure.
See, the irony is, even if there is a debt jubilee, and we just pretend that the debt is gone, so to say, it still won't show up in the real economy because the inflation is already set. So, I mean, you can call it a debt jubilee, but in reality, all you're doing is just deleting words. You're not actually deleting the financial landscape of 330 million Americans and how all the previous spending is reflected in that population.
I'm not sure what was the question.
It's not really a question, but people predict that there will be something called a debt jubilee, where government debt will be essentially there'll be a meeting of the minds between lenders, creditors, and debtors like the U.S. And the U.S. will no longer owe China 1.6 trillion. Instead, they'll owe them 300 billion. And other countries will also have to take pennies on the dollar. But the truth is, it's like setting a chessboard and then saying new game. But everybody on that chessboard has what's called stuff, and either they spent that money and they accumulated stuff, or let's just say that money disappears. I'm just saying that there's not a speck out of place in the whole universe. A speck of dust.
Given the ownership percentage from China, it's more worthy to implement your plan. You said you cause like bigger damage. Then the return, the reward of that plan is not worth it, given the percentage of China.
Well, I'm just interested to see what Lao Tzu and the Tao Te Ching has to say about it, because if our greatest enemy is China and they're putting out all the world's weapons of mass destruction, causing all kinds of chaos throughout the globe, I wonder if we can use Chinese philosophy to defeat the Chinese, because it's possible that the Chinese have forgotten their fundamental roots. And if we were to rip their roots out and put them in our tea and drink their roots, perhaps we could actually win this game.
Okay, that's a very interesting thought, and I think if you find like philosophers in Chinese, I think you maybe you will find solutions. But this one is not going to help. This one is advocating doing nothing. So just let everything develop on its own. Do not do anything to impact. Right? I don't think this one will help actually, but others may be helping.
Well, it's my belief that books are programs, scripts you might call them, and we the hardware. And when you run the software through the hardware, if it's a really good program, perhaps there could be some economic gains as a result of running these extremely advanced AI software programs called books.
I think AI is a important aspect. US can stay on top. I read the news of Saudi Arabia. They funded the infrastructure building of the amount of the AI warehouse, and then they will own those AI cloud centers. They will be biggest productive revenues. Right? They will produce meaningful revenues from US companies, but the ownership is in Saudi Arabia. So it's really the enemy may be not us. I mean,
No, I don't think enemies that China's the enemy. I think that we are our own worst enemy, and that China might be a close second.
yeah, I don't think China's about shit. They're not very innovative. They don't have a lot going on. Plus, their population is about to collapse. This does not hurt us at all. but right now we have a lot of the helpers helping you to monitor all these things. You have the tax, you have the cameras, you have the economic calculation. You should look it up. I'm sure there's translations in Chinese. Okay, anyways, what I'm trying to say that it can be planned and it's working for the last 4 decades. Can I point you to the economic calculation problem?
Hey, sorry, I had to make a stop off at the store. Are we still reading a book today? Yeah. Yeah, how's it going?
Are you recording?
I'm recording, yeah, I'm sitting in front of my computers and cell phones.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, same situation. Except I moved to Skokie.
Oh, so did you get yourself an apartment?
No. Oh, no.
Oh my god. Well, why don't you just get yourself a new apartment? Just get yourself a
Yes,
studio.
that's the plan.
Yeah, get a studio. I mean, if you,
That's probably what I'm going to do. Thanks for being there. Because the antidote thing is pretty easy. It's not like it's like there's WinRed and antidote are the two services for Republicans. And it like makes it where people can donate to you online, and it puts you on like a directory of all like the Congress candidates. So I think I randomly got $1,500 from just some person that donated the Congress candidate. Yeah, so you should have to sign up for that.
it says your description shown on donor bank statement descriptor.
Oh, you can make several pages on antidote too. Where like they basically like like they'll have like stupid campaigns where they'll be like 24 for 20 $26 for 26. You basically can like make your own unique pages.
Yeah. That's
So it's pretty easy.
So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to talk to you about this. I know you probably don't want to be recorded, but I mean, yeah, let me know. I mean, if you're in Skokie, come over to my house.
I may.
I'll keep you posted. Yeah, it's already a lot easier than going to do it yourself. So it's just a nicer hotel and like the same price.
Safer is good too. West Parkers, you know. I
You know,
know.
West Rogers Park is fine. East is shithole and dangerous.
Yeah, that's true.
The West Side, I get no problems. And Skokie also has parts that are bad.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's got nice.
well, anyways, I mean, dude, I'm sorry to hear that, you know, this has happened, but I mean, it's not that uncommon. I mean, I got engaged and ended the engagement, you know, prior to actually hearing it. Huh?
Did I talk on the phone with her?
The girl that I was engaged to 10 years ago?
Yeah.
No. Why would you talk to her?
I was on a three-way phone call with you and some girl that you said you were
Oh,
engaged to.
no. I was never engaged to that chick. That's just a chick from birthday.
No, you said you guys got married.
We crashed a wedding in Jerusalem.
Yeah, I thought you guys got married. She said you guys got like court married or something.
No.
You guys
I've never been married. But yeah, I mean, best way to look at it is there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe.
100%. If it happens, not why it's happened. But I'll keep you posted. And I think Aaron's running for better governor. Shit now. What's up, man? You alright?
Everybody, I like his responses. People are like, he's such a bitch. He won't, respond to anything. It's like such a schedule. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm currently setting up this antidote account with my campaign bank account.
How did you to be is empty yet infinitely capable? The more you use it, the more it produces. The more you talk of it, the less you understand. Hold on to the center. 6. The Tao is called the Great Mother. Empty, yet inexhaustible. It gives birth to infinite worlds. It is always present within you. You can use it any way you want. 7. The Tao is infinite, eternal. Why is it eternal? It was never born, thus it can never die. Why is it infinite? It has no desires for itself, thus it is present for all beings. The Master stays behind. That is why she is ahead. She is detached from all things. That is why she is one with them. Because she has let go of herself, she is perfectly fulfilled. 8. The supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. It is content with the low places that people disdain. Thus, it is like the Tao. Indwelling, live close to the ground. In thinking, keep to the simple. In conflict, be fair and generous. In governing, don't try to control. In work, do what you enjoy. In family life, be completely present. When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. 9. Fill your bowl to the brim, and it will spill.
Keep sharpening your knife, and it will blunt. Chase after money and security, and your heart will never unclench. Care about people's approval, and you will be their prisoner. Do your work, then step back. The only path to serenity. 10. Can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Can you let your body become supple as a newborn child's? Can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? Giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting with no expectations, leading and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue. 11. We join spokes together in a wheel, but it is the center hole that makes the wagon move. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We hammer wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes it livable. We work with being, but non-being is what we use. 12. Colors blind the eye. Sounds deafen the ear. Flavors numb the taste. Thoughts weaken the mind. Desires wither the heart. The master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision. He allows things to come and go. His heart is open as the sky. 13. Success is as dangerous as failure. Hope is as hollow as fear. What does it mean that success is as dangerous as failure? Whether you go up the ladder or down it, your position is shaky. When you stand with your 2 feet on the ground, you will always keep your balance. What does it mean that hope is as hollow as fear? Hope and fear are both phantoms that arise from thinking of the self. When we don't see the self as self, what do we have to fear? See the world as yourself. Have faith in the way things are. Love the world as yourself. Then you can care for all things. Approach it, and there is no beginning. Follow it, and there is no end. You can't know it, but you can be it. At ease in your own life. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. 15. The ancient masters were profound and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe it. All we can describe is their appearance. They were careful as someone crossing an iced-over stream, alert as a warrior in enemy territory, courteous as a guest, fluid as melting ice, shapeable as a block of wood, receptive as a valley, clear as a glass of water. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? The master doesn't seek fulfillment. Not seeking, not expecting. She is present and can welcome all things. 16. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king, immersed in the wonder of the Tao. You can deal with whatever life brings you. And when death comes, you are ready. 17. When the master governs, the people are hardly aware that he exists. Next best is a leader who is loved. Next, one who is feared. The worst is one who is despised. If you don't trust the people, you make them untrustworthy. The master doesn't talk, he acts. When his work is done, the people say, amazing, we did it, all by ourselves. 18. When the great Tao is forgotten, goodness and piety appear. When the body's intelligence declines, cleverness and knowledge step forth. When there is no peace in the family, filial piety begins. When the country falls into chaos, patriotism is born. 19. Throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times at the center of the circle and let all things take their course. 20. Stop thinking and end your problems. What difference between yes and no? What difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value? Avoid what others avoid? How ridiculous. Other people are excited, as though they were at a parade. I alone don't care. I alone am expressionless, like an infant before it can smile. Other people have what they need. I alone possess nothing. I alone drift about, like someone without a home. I am like an idiot. My mind is so empty. Other people are bright. I alone am dark. Other people are sharp. I alone am dull. Other people have a purpose. I alone don't know. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. I am different from ordinary people. I drink from the great mother's breasts. 21. Okay? The master keeps her mind always at one with the Tao. That is what gives her her radiance.
It's truth. He says it's truth. What's the truth?
The Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be at one with it?
Most important. No matter how
Because she doesn't cling to ideas.
you always come back.
The Tao is dark and unfathomable. How can it make her radiant? Because she lets it. Since before time and space were, the Tao is. It is beyond is and is not. How do I know this is true? I look inside myself.
You're telling me
and see
that there's like hundreds of thousands of Hebrew Israelites.
22.
Say no. Okay, so okay, if you think it's less than the
If you want to become whole,
No. I mean, I'm just blown away by.
Listen, you've got 42 million people, so to have 100,000, that's not unreasonable. Like, the number of people that believe in fairies is probably.
Let's get back on topic of the discussion on the title.
I mean, Mikkel knows I've said this before, and I think he was going to say, but I do think that yes, it's. Does it come from Islam? Yes, I would say look at Muhammad and say I would consider him a terrorist.
You would. But do define terrorism before you continue.
We can use the word more.
Islam terrorism. But try. I it's crazy that where you've been on this app for a long time. You're not like a teen. You should know what terrorism means.
Well, it's generally a non-state actor trying to.
You can't be state actors. Yeah, that's not
But I would say this: we have like out of all of the terrorism that we have, like even in the United States, the only like real, oh god damn it, Armand! Like let me fucking finish, Armand!
Just a minute tonight. This is gonna be crazy.
Out of all of the terror,
Relax.
out of all of the terrorism you see in the United States, I think you could maybe there's been some abortion clinic bombings done by Christians. That's pretty much the extent of it as far as like mass casualty terrorist attacks that are based on religion. They seem to have all been Muslim. If you look in sub-Saharan Africa or North Africa, who's doing the killing in major religions? Muslims. Southeast Asia, who's doing the killing? That's the question. Even in Europe, who's doing the religiously motivated terrorist attacks? It's Muslims. I mean, there is obviously something from this religion that doesn't appear to just be political. It appears that it is these people.
We've heard it a million times. Let's just define terrorism.
Well, so here, let me read it. Let me read the definition of terrorism. So, terrorism is the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, to further political aims. It's characterized by the deliberate creation and exploitation of fear to achieve a desired outcome, often involving intimidation of wider target audience beyond the immediate victims. Different organizations and legal frameworks may have slightly varying definitions, but the core concept revolves around violence, intimidation, and political, and what I would say is religious goals in this case.
Stick to the definition. So, so pretty much unlawful acts of violence against populations in an attempt to intimidate them into a specific policy or to concede to a specific agenda. So that is what terrorism is. Who's been conducting terrorism in that sense for over since the early 1900s, pretty much. That's been the West. You could describe the West in everything. For example, Ireland and the famine that took place in Ireland. That's a form of terrorism. It's state terrorism. Colonialism. That's terrorism as well. America, the false flags that America conducted, for example, in Vietnam. That's terrorism. All over Latin America, going around and toppling pretty much every government because it was socialist or communist. That's terrorism. 9/11. Millions of people have been killed. That's terrorism. Go ahead.
Yeah, so people are saying that Islam is actually democracy, right? Let me tell you, during the 2-1 wars, 200 million people died. Was it Islam? By Americans. Yeah, like, this is the war is a form of terrorism. Like, 200 million people died. They deserve to die. Okay, the terrorism died 4 to 9 million deaths by Americans, by America, by indigenous population in USA. South America, around 45 to 55 million indigenous population died by the conquistadors. In Australia, around 750,000 people died. Was it Islam? Indigenous population dead. 100,000 children are dying. Men are dying in America because of the fire.
I didn't do a little bit of research. Bring it back. Hold on. When somebody talks, like, you guys,
I'm going to do an actual Shabbat.
it's so great to don't interrupt. Keep it to like 60 seconds to 90 seconds. You're interrupting as I'm saying don't interrupt us, which is fucking even more mind-boggling. That people are going around and trying to change like what terrorism is, or trying to like define it and make a broader understanding. Again, you're fucking interrupting, dude. I have a problem. Like, seriously, that's some dumb shit. Whoever is going to interrupt, going to get thrown to the audience. Like, wow. The whole point of it, I'm pretty sure the question is, why do Muslims suddenly make random acts of terror wherever they go?
especially like Central Asia, if you look at like Central Asia, all of that has been practically.
But Mikhail, so you get into a school fight, right? Kid punches you in the nose. You don't like it. You blew his fucking house up because you lost the fight.
It's actually
No, the problem is people don't know how to take the L, the loss. They can't take the loss.
The world doesn't work that way. The world,
There's a winner and a loser.
If you go to Afghanistan and you're killing hundreds of thousands of civilians, and civilians are being killed and their homes are being bombed, no one is going to go and say, oh, it's not fair to go do that in the UK, for example, or in France, or any of the countries that decided to join in the aggression against Afghanistan, or even Iraq, for example. So the people believe if you bomb someone's home here and you kill them, and you go and you torture people in Abu Ghraib, for example, or torture people in Afghanistan or in Guantanamo, people believe that it is eye for an eye. If you do this to their countries, they are going to go do it to you. And just because you call it internally terrorism, or you try to like spin a propaganda around it, it is not going to negate eye for an eye. And you and me both believe in eye for an eye. Because I'm assuming you hold to the totem.
I do, but what's your definition of eye for an eye? That's the difference.
An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, and ear for an ear.
So would an eye for an eye,
civilian.
would an eye for an eye be military personnel fighting military personnel, which is exactly what's going on. So if you're looking at the Torah perspective on eye for an eye, it doesn't mean you take my eye, I take your eye. You stab my brother, I stab your brother. That's not what it means. It means I should make you feel the same pain, whether it be monetary or mental, like anguish, of the same pain I felt because you took my eye. We're not barbaric and stupid where we believe that you do it.
Obviously, there could be compensation. No one is saying, you can't have any other forms of compensation or equalization.
But I agree with you, but that doesn't mean you can't go take out an eye. No, but that's what I think. A lot of people misinterpret it. Like, you killed my brother, I'm gonna kill your brother. That's not what
It is valid, and meaning it is valid if no compensation is provided or no judgment takes place. Actually, that is valid. I'm pretty sure. I don't talk to him. I do that too.
If you're saying that it's no help to kill a person because he took you, take it as a person because he took you right out, you're completely wrong. There's no
I said he could provide evidence. Absolutely.
that's how the discussing it.
Alright, go for it.
I'm gonna have some full discussion on eye for an eye. He's ready. Discuss this the judgments, right? The judgments of the court that needs to get one. It has nothing to do with doing physical things, right?
If a court is available to judge, but if someone isn't, their judgment isn't taking place, this person exacted a toll on you, and he's just loose out there. Do you not have a right to go and exact a punishment equal in account? Says who?
Absolutely not.
You guys may reference who you're talking about.
I wanted to say something on it. Plenty of compensation for suffering, it might explain anger or resentment, but it doesn't justify terrorism, right? If you're not getting justice or compensation, means terrorism becomes allied, then anyone that felt wronged could do that, right? And the whole world would become chaotic. There's loads of communities that have suffered without turning to terrorism. They've fought back when it let me finish. They fought back politically. They rebuilt without targeting civilians. That's number one, right? And the difference between terrorism is, I don't know if you know, terrorism is about intentionally killing people who are non-combatants, right? And that's never justified by lack of compensation. So wanting justice is understandable, but deliberately murdering innocent people is not.
Well, it's definitely not justice. That's for sure. That's one thing that is definitely not justice. The fact that you're suffering.
It's an eye for an eye.
That's the fact that you're suffering. That's
I would not be throwing rocks.
But you know,
I would not be throwing rocks in my house.
I didn't sit down.
Not on a highway, Mikhail. Save your rocks for the highway attacks, Mikhail.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, people don't need to provide something. Something
No, it's not obvious.
Yeah, it is obvious. It is obvious. People have nothing to do. Killing civilians in another country. Buddy, relax. Put your knickers in a twist, yeah? Killing civilians, I'll beat you out of the room, shut the fuck up. Killing civilians in another country, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Killing civilians, listen, use your ears for once. Killing civilians, use your ears. You're dumb. No one agrees with you. Use your ears. That's what you never learn. You're not listening. Killing civilians in another country, bombing buses, attacking markets, that's not justice, that's indiscriminate revenge. That's why most legal systems and moral codes reject collective punishment.
Yes,
It's not
you see the United States, you see NATO, and literally that's what they did. Target markets, target civilians. Most of the casualties from these wars are civilians. That's what it is. And not only that, we have these acts documented. We know what happened in Iraq, in Baghdad, in a market. We know what happened with Blackwater when and wiped out the market. We've seen what the Americans have done in Iraq and in Afghanistan, and whether that's dismembering Afghanis or even pursuing innocent Afghanis and putting them in black cells around the world, in Eastern Europe or in Egypt or something. We've seen all this, and people have been found guilty, and a lot of people have gotten away with the absolute Satanism that was committed in these acts. Like, this is America, literally, Agent Orange alone on Vietnamese villagers. That is a form of terrorism that has been unmet till today. The firebombing of every Japanese city, and then dropping 2 nukes on the last 2. Like, there's so many examples of just America alone conducting acts. Terrorism would be too light of a word.
Would you say terrorism? I've got a question for you. Would you say that even though the goal, would you say that NATO, for example, stating that they'll object to hit military targets and civilian deaths are unintended is the same as like terrorism? Would you say it equals to the same thing? Would you say that's
America and a lot of these countries, and even all the acts is that.
So it's the same as strapping a bomb to your chest in a market? It's the same as is it the same as strapping a bomb to your chest in a market and flying a plane?
It's worse.
I think you're a bit deluded by that.
No, I think when you drop like a ton bomb on a civilian area, yeah, absolutely, that's worse than someone. Yes, absolutely, that's worse. In any magnitude of the sense, it's worse.
So what you're saying basically, if a person from a specific country, like a country commits a terrorist act in Europe, then this European country is legally allowed to actually bomb this shit out of this country, right?
Who is the one who started? Yes, it is the West, not the Muslim world.
I'm not really curious.
These acts, listen,
You're just
all
you're
these
saying
acts of
retaliation.
quote-unquote terrorism that you want to
You're
call
saying
it,
retaliation.
all of them
justice,
came
right?
as a consequence following
Is
9/11.
retaliation justice?
Retaliation is retaliation.
Is it justified?
It can be, yes.
Right. So it can be justified to just bomb the hell out of every European country that had the terrorists come out. Right?
Again, the act, the unjust act was initiated by the West.
I don't care who initiated it.
So
Retaliation
it is
something that
absolutely
needs to take
valid
place, right?
to respond to unjust acts conducted against you. If
So
conducted
terrorism
against
is
you in a
intent-
specific nature, if an act
Are you
by a
justifying
hostile nation is conducted against you in a
Okay, so you're
specific
justifying
nature,
terrorism.
you are allowed to respond back within that specific nature.
Okay, so you're justifying terrorism, therefore you should justify any act.
I'm trying to explain to you the phenomenon.
against the terrorists, right?
I don't believe terrorism should exist, but I believe the response of terrorism can be terrorism, and this is a valid method.
It is a valid, right? It is a valid response.
Yeah, because the West does it all the time. Because the West does it all the time.
I think it's.
So it is a valid response from the West, right?
So are you validating Israel's response after October 7th, Mikhail? Are you then, because you're saying retaliation, are you actually saying that Israel retaliated in the sense of an eye for an eye after October 7th? Because I feel like you're alluding to that point, Mikhail.
You're making the same mistake Bells is making. Again, if you want to talk about the cycle of violence and who initiated the cycle of violence, I have no problem with doing that. However, the whole point is that it is valid for someone to respond against terrorism with terrorism. And this is done in many ways, especially by the West or even by many state actors or non-state actors. This is done all over the world. And this is one of the most ancient rules in humanity, an eye for an eye. And that's how it is.
So it is valid. Okay, so you're just...
So after October 7th...
problem hearing or something. I think you have a problem.
So wait, but wouldn't an eye for an eye actually justify the fact that the Israelis are trying to get the hostages back because they're still being held?
They are doing what they need to do because they are Zionists, and Zionism is a specific project that has its necessities and principles. But if you want to ask why October,
they're actually just caring for their citizens. They're trying to bring their citizens back alive.
No. If they cared about them, they would have agreed to a hostage exchange a long time ago.
Yeah,
they don't care.
But you said
the agenda.
He's saying the West. He's saying the West acted unjustly, so terrorism is valid. Even though he's saying terrorism is valid because the West acted unjustly. He's basically.
Well, I just speak about my brother who started testing.
No, I was thinking about they have rocks, right? It's just sand. Yeah. Thousands of tourists get grinded up into a sand.
Of the beach. Like you do not
Yeah, you turn it into a free flip.
This is the ones that I'm used to in America.
I'm a bit.
Now, I'm with you. Egypt. My grandfather lived in Rhode Island, so I'm going to Cape Cod to the beaches.
Who just got in trouble in Cape Cod? Someone famous. Was it Alan Dershowitz?
Probably.
He got yelled at?
Really? That was Nantucket.
Nantucket.
I met Alan Dershowitz once at a private residence in Beverly Hills. And he was talking a lot about General Petraeus. And so I had set up a camera on the fireplace mantle with a 200 gigabyte memory card or whatever. And he was like, I hope nobody's recording this. And I was like, oh shit. Should I say something? So I proceeded to record Alan Dershowitz talking about all kinds of interesting things with regards to General Petraeus. And I still have the footage actually, but it's nothing really that interesting.
They call him General Petraeus.
Yeah, that dope. He was cheating on his wife with some journalist.
Yes.
That's there.
Because that, how's Italy treating you? Are you enjoying your vacation?
Yeah, a lot of fun. Like going all different places. Is that a deal very much together actually?
How do you travel? Did you rent a bus or something?
I think his wife is helping.
Well, I'm I'm going to Tel Aviv soon to go stay at the 360-degree hostel on the beach to hopefully find a wife, a beautiful Jewish princess who can become my number one and inherit all my riches and government subsidies.
Don't forget to drop my name when you talk to her again.
Whoever this lucky woman is, she gets free dental health care. She gets free hospitalization, all her health insurance. She gets $2 million. She gets a 15-room bathhouse. She's going to be the luckiest shidducha in Tel Aviv.
$2 million? Where do you get $2 million?
That's what my net worth will be when I finally broke.
Someone's been investing in their Roth IRA. Maximum investment per year.
Do you think there's anybody?
What is it? What is 5K? What is it? Life contribution.
I was gonna ask, do you think there's anybody who's ever blown up their traditional or their Roth IRA by day trading? Not destroyed it. I'm saying they made a huge amount of money. Gambling, day trading, buying options.
Is that legal?
Wait, can you trade options in your Roth? Because if you can blow that account out, can't you technically withdraw it tax-free?
It doesn't work that way.
Well, I mean, you can withdraw from your Roth at the correct age. I'm not saying you would do an early withdrawal unless you have to pay the tax.
It's like Beatles said, baby, you're a rich man.
You know why they're never going to fully go digital for taxation? It's the same reason they never went digital for the COVID-19 vaccines.
Where is that?
Meaning that there's no back end to the IRS, there's no back end to the COVID-19 vaccines. It's all done on paper. It's a confession statement.
Hey, what are you, some kind of something citizen?
No, I'm accurately describing the situation. They take your tax return and they put it in an underground cave in Kansas City, Missouri. Nobody could.
Like what Elon was talking about with Social Security?
Well, he was talking about the federal retirement vault in that underground bunker or whatever, where it's all done on paper. So the founder of Airbnb is digitizing the federal retirement program, so it's no longer all done on paper, it's done digital. Are you guys upset that Benjamin Netanyahu is going to take over the Gaza Strip and rule it? When he's going to conquer the Gaza Strip militarily and take it over?
Nona told me this morning, she said, I feel a chip out coming. I feel it. I hope that there isn't a full breakout.
What?
A chip that you
New York 2.0.
Oh, you mean you're going to have a mental health breakdown when they do the final conquest?
My aunt was so kind to me yesterday. She's like, it's okay, it's for you to react like that. People who aren't reacting like that are the ones that aren't moving.
That's a nice way to frame it.
Yeah, she's like, we accept you no matter what, as long as you don't just say I'm gay. That we don't accept.
Oh wow, you should come out as trans.
Never.
Where did you take the balls?
Actually, her Christian aunts were from Colombia over there yesterday. They only speak Spanish. They're so sweet. And then my aunt thought I could speak Spanish, and so she was telling me to say stuff in Spanish. They sent her on me. She was like telling me to say that that's my brother. And his ex said hijo. So
war will probably be over by next June. So if you do want to go to Tel Aviv and participate in the LGBTQ parade, like you can let your mother know that you're not only are you not a racist, but you're also not a bigot.
That's what my mother is, but yeah, she's actually, she breastfed me when I was a child, so she's actually she's also my mother too, because in Islam you get breastfed.
What?
Yeah, like when you
Your
breastfeed
aunt
a
was
child,
breastfeeding you?
she breastfed me one time.
Jesus.
What's it called? My cousin is getting married in Palestine next year, so I hope I can go, but I don't know if they'll let me.
Wait, are you sure that that's your aunt? Are you sure it's just not like another mother? Like, because like, how many moms do you have?
I actually consider her my mother more than my mother.
Got it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you this thought. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad system, because I've been in Islamic houses where they do have multiple wives, cooking, cleaning. Like, it's like having a lot of employees working in your house. It's kind of
She's actually, my aunt is actually the daughter of the second wife.
Oh my God. Not only is that your mother, it's also your aunt and your cousin.
You're so slow, John. Like, none of it connects the dots.
Well, I met this girl at the bar this weekend, and she's like, yeah, my husband will be here in just a moment, or my fiance. And she's like, FYI, my fiance is also my second cousin. I was like, you're marrying your second cousin? I was like,
White?
She was white. She looked like she was poor white trash, but and she had one of those nose rings that go in the base or the bottom of the nose. That's like the biggest indicator of like an insane liberal lesbian. Yeah, the bull ring.
Do you like that? Because I don't understand what you
No, I do not like that. I think it looks great.
Well, I did
date a girl that had them, but they have a very gnarly death scene Final Destination bloodlines. With the guy that had a bunch of piercings. It's really funny when they turn on the MRI and it's just going higher and higher, and the guy's getting sucked in there. And at first it's just an earring and a nostril ring, and then eventually it's the one on his knob, and it's getting sucked in there. Oh yeah.
You know, an African American gentleman, he recently died in an MRI machine. Did you see that? He had a big chain on it and it killed him.
I heard about that.
He got stuck, right?
I don't know.
Can't believe they couldn't shut it down. You know, it's fucking crazy way to die.
John, you sound like you've been crying.
No, maybe I'm just like kind of nasally right now.
What, Diego? You're in the Matrix.
You're in the Matrix, Diego. You know, we're doing a reading room today. If anybody here wants to break the vicious circle of clown house of just talking endlessly and you know, having heated conversations about nothing, you can come to a room today where we'll.
I actually learned today from Diego that scribing, like writing a book word for word, is a good way to learn how to. He's a Greek, but I thought I have it how to write. So I'm gonna start doing that with my spare time.
You're gonna talk to yourself, talking to an AI chat about recording your words.
No, I'm gonna type it. I'm gonna type it.
That's what
Wait, Diego, is it writing it? Like writing on paper, or is it typing it?
Writing it.
About right. I mean,
Oh, so it's not what you just said. So you're not gonna scribe, you're actually gonna write.
well, scribing is writing, right?
No, I mean that's talk to text. You could call that writing.
No, they didn't have this. Anyways, Diego, what were you saying? You were in the Matrix.
Second, I was just saying that
I'm sure it was a job, but we're willing to hear it anyways.
But anyways, as I was saying, we will be reading the Tao Te Ching today in 5-minute increments. If you've never read the Tao Te Ching or read a book in a while, and you want to read a book here in Clubhouse instead of listening to people talk all the time, people talk about nothing, have heated discussions about Israel, Palestine, racism, gender, abortion, whatever, you can come to a room today and break the addiction of sitting here and talking about nothing.
The Tao is what you're just all about.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
They preach like semen.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. But yeah, you're right. I guess they do. David doesn't have to worry about that. I don't think David and Curry gets ejected.
Oh, yeah, David.
David, did you sterilize yourself with vodka?
With all due respect, I'm not going to answer that question.
I wonder if he's related because he's drinking now.
I see my therapist in 2 weeks. I'll bring it up with my therapist. I have 2 master's degrees. I'm a graduate of the.
What school did he go to? Nobody even knows.
He has 2 PhDs.
What's the name of that TV show that he has in his PTR? Because I think I remember that show. Anyways, I hope you all have a great day. You know, Clown House is eventually going away, so you have to figure out what to do with yourselves.
What makes you say that?
We'll just watch you on YouTube.
Yeah, feel free to tune in anytime.
What makes you say it's going away?
Well, nobody could possibly sit here and waste their lives talking about nothing forever, right?
I mean, we've done it for 5 years.
We're on a roll, baby. Hey, how's it going? RQ casting. Sound right? 199 Huntington Boulevard. This is okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Legally what?
I think it is better that he didn't take the consequences because he able to stop.
Yeah, no, it's stuff in it. Really rather if we can get on it.
Also, when you can come back, it'd be easier.
Did you shit in a car like you're a driver or what?
Yeah, he did.
Hey, my friend, how's it going over there? How are you doing? Princess, when you see that innocent victim in that terror tunnel starving to death, being axed to dig his own grave by his Palestinian Hamas Islamic terrorist handlers, how does that make you feel?
Does it make you feel when you see the Palestinians being killed indiscriminately, being starved, and then pretending that none of it's happening?
I asked you first, how does it make you feel?
That's my answer to you.
I asked you how you feel.
That's my answer to you. I feel that you all just don't care. So you expect the Palestinian not to care about others because you don't care.
So you project your lack of caring onto me. So I ask you again, how does it make you feel when you see that PTR? You know, this is part of the problem with people today. Most people are completely incapable of actually.
When you cannot pronounce the mispronunciation of ask.
Okay, so I'll ask you again, and please actually answer the question as opposed to reverse engineering it.
John, listen. Unlike the Jewish people, the Israelis, and the Zionists, or not all the Israelis, and some are protesting against it, that I see on social media where they pretty much only believe that the hostages are starving and everything else is probably better God's good. I feel sad, and the reason why he is the way he is because there is no food coming in to all the areas.
Well, that can't be the reason.
No, it is, because if you look at the hostages that were released before they weren't emancipated. Why were the hostages
emancipated? The ones who were emancipated were not emancipated.
Emaciated.
No, like the ones who were emancipated, they weren't even emaciated.
No, seriously, before the
I know, it's using words funny.
No, I know, I realize what you're doing. I realize what you're doing. But they were actually healthier looking than most Palestinians when they came home.
Right, but if the reason that the guy is starving is because there's no child.
Who the fuck cares? Like, you guys are acting like you care about starving.
No, Rabbi, they don't acknowledge starving kids. They starving hostages.
Well, fuck the hostages. Fuck the starving children.
That's not very orthodox to me.
It doesn't matter. What matters is how much cash inflow do I get. That's right.
Yeah, that's not very Christian.
Well, look at the Jew telling us Christian and what's Christ like. Look at the Jew, look at the Yiddish guy telling us what we can be like.
Rabbi, do you realize?
How about you guys collectively, individually and collectively eat my ass? Sure.
We hope that this is only a troll with Rabbi, but you never see the Christian side of Rabbi if you realize.
Honestly, where you're not. Oh no, it's like really true. There's a lot of trends pushing for men to remove and pushing for legislators to redefine when child support should be appropriate. And judges are starting to say 50-50 custody at the start unless you can prove to me why one parent is unfit.
Diego definitely doesn't have the
And if that parent is unfit, then we'll discuss what sort of support
I mean,
mechanism.
it's so amazing. You guys didn't care about the children of Yemen, 70% of which have cholera. You guys didn't care about those, right? Yet now you act like you care about Palestinian children and Jewish children. Well, fuck you. Fuck you and those children. They're good.
Rabbi, does the Orthodox Church believe that Jews worship the same God?
Of course not.
Okay, just wanted to confirm.
I do want to concur with the sentiment that Rabbi has, because honestly, this room is a waste of time. You are all primarily a waste of time, and Rabbi has it right with that regards.
You guys are like, it's unbelievable. Right. Instead of taking advantage of market movements today, all they talk about is gay shit, and nobody cares. I mean, they've talked about it for years now. That's October the 7th, which was an amazing day, don't get me wrong, but like you guys don't get what you're doing. I really don't.
Wasting the damn time.
Like, I'm gonna come in paragliding into your ass.
See, let me just tell you what a priority is, because I don't think people in this room actually know anymore what a priority is.
I've been talking about Grindr for ages, and today it went up 10%. Do you guys see that?
Can you tell me what
Really?
priority probability?
Well, that's the priority. Is Grindr, GRND. I've been telling you that
went up 10%.
It went up 10 points. Yes, it did. That's what matters. I would also be salty if why are you making money? I want to be the one who makes the money. Why are you making? So I understand why you guys are salty and choose to talk about gay shit.
It's like a Grindr.
Yeah. Look who's gay now. You're missing out on all the fun from it. These are the SPC.
Holy shit, it really is, huh?
I told you.
Damn, it's 3.39 billion. Can you believe
It
this
looks like
thing?
it's maybe forming like an inverse head and shoulders. Like it's like bumping out of the head now.
I'd rather go with Johnson & Johnson, but it doesn't matter. I've been telling
That's right.
look at that damn stock. It's
Yeah, I like Ryan, but I think I'm gonna buy some.
It does about $400 million a year in gay revenue. It's totally overvalued though.
What makes you say that?
Based on what? So that's it. This nigga decided it's overvalued. It didn't do nothing for cash flow. It didn't do nothing. But it's overvalued. Right.
Grinder is only going to continue to expand.
Of course, there's a lot of faggots out there.
Like Rabbi's butt cheeks.
But anyways, aside from that, like I find it to be disgusting when Jews talk about enemy rights. Honestly, Hitler should have killed all of you. At the same time,
Amazing.
yes, Hitler should have killed all of you. He was right about you on multiple different most levels, I would say. No, and you guys are the scum of the earth. And on the other side, the Palestinians, like you guys claim that you care about the children, but what about the Yemen? What about those? Okay.
You know, I care about the Yemenites. You know who I think is the scum of the earth? Is hateful people.
The Jews. Okay, thank you. We're saying the same thing.
Not all Jews are hateful, and there are hateful people who are not Jewish.
You guys are the biggest niggers on the earth. Like,
I don't consider myself a bigger nigger.
Doesn't matter.
I think you're a bigger nigger than me.
Okay, but
Who is a bigger nigger? Mrs. Bigger. Listen, who is bigger? Mrs. Bigger.
Well, it was right about that.
Or Mrs. Bigger's baby.
And everyone sees it. Everyone in the world sees it. Like,
Diego.
Yeah, did you see the Carl Tuckerson most recent one?
Oh, I was actually watching it.
Carl Tuckerson. Yeah, Carl
The
Tuckerson.
Christian?
No, not with the even Carl Tuckerson sees that all like the Jews are worse than Hitler.
Well, the most recent one was with that Christian woman.
I heard that Carl Tuckerson was part of the CIA. He's a CIA plant.
Well, if he was a CIA plant, he would be something for Israel.
You know that Tucker Carlson's father was part of the CIA?
That doesn't
according to Putin said he was rejected from the CIA, so I don't think.
Right, but that was like a wink. It was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear you did not get to the CIA.
So when are we going to do our own program?
That's right.
Carl Tuckerson. When are we going to go to all the synagogues and start shooting them down?
Go and shoot up a synagogue tomorrow. Why don't you go do it? Go ahead and do it.
No, I won't do it. But I won't find someone.
I mean, if you want to go shoot up a synagogue, just go ahead.
No, I personally won't do it.
Okay, well then you're a faggot.
No, I'm not. I'm just not sure.
You're a pussy.
Randy had come out guns blazing, so I got a case of holidays.
I'm the boy.
I think he's in a manic state.
John, call the FBI. I hope you're recording this. Call the FBI.
I am. I'm live streaming this to an FBI watch center right now. They're triangulating Rabbi Randy McDickerson's location. They know that he visits the shawarma shop near his house regularly. They'll probably pick him up there soon.
Shoot up a synagogue.
You hear that, Randy? We're gonna get you deported from Canada and have your ass sent back to Amman. Good luck at Reem Shawarma waiting in the line, punk.
Okay, so several things.
Rabbi, why are you
Number one, nigger. Good luck identifying me. Number two, nigger. I have the.
I thought your name was Benjamin Omar.
Well, this is
Omar. Benjamin Omar.
Well, this is America, and as far as I'm concerned, I can say whatever the fuck I want. No, I've been
Oh, now you're in America.
Actually, you can't say I want to shoot up a synagogue. I don't think you can, because I heard that I saw an interview the other day. Listen, nigger, listen. I saw an interview. Listen, I saw an interview the other day with a guy who had recently gotten out of prison. He was in prison for 9 months for threatening to shoot up a house party. And then he was asked, were you planning on shooting it up? And he said, I didn't even have a gun. So he was investigated for his threat. The police found out that he didn't have a gun, but because he threatened to shoot up a party and it was a credible threat, he still went to prison for 9 months.
Yeah, but this is not a credible threat because we're online for one of the two. I never said.
Rabbi's scared now. He's backtracked.
No, I'm not. I never said I will not. They made it very clear, nigga. I will not shoot or do anything. I will break the law. I will find and do
Yeah, but you're
Can you
inciting.
rewind it?
You're inciting violence.
No, I'm not.
Rabbi, I will loan you the mail money.
I can't incite violence when I say, hey, Hitler was right about me. But the guy's gone. The guy's not there. So that's right.
Did Hitler like the Arabs? Was Hitler a friend of the Arabs?
So the Arabs are almost as bad as the Jews.
Aren't you an Arab?
I thought you meant the Muslim.
You're Arab.
Yes, I am Arab.
He hates his own people. He especially hates Muslim Arabs.
Self-hating Jew. You're a self-hating Arab.
No one was worse than a Jew. I have self-awareness. That's the difference.
I have self-awareness. I don't even hate myself.
You don't have
I just am aware of my inferior.
You have self-awareness. You would be open about the Jewish involvement in the child rape, whether it be the initiation of the ADL or whether it be
What child rape are you talking about?
all the child rape tunnels under the New York State.
The only place where child rape is legal is child Go to Lebanon, you can marry a young girl. That's your family's fun. Aren't you Lebanese?
Yeah, but
It's halal. It's legal. They put it on YouTube. The Azizi boys. The Fachi boys. Go down into those tunnels to rape children. I think people are.
This is the monarchic negotiation where they're literally raping one fucking little boy. And that's why there's shit stains on the fucking mattresses and not blood.
We talked to you last year.
Who does it say there were shit stains on the mattresses?
Look at this nigga acting like he's never seen the pictures.
I saw some pictures, but I didn't see.
That's why Daddy Hitler said that these guys, when you talk to them, it's as if you never did. And then they start acting like you don't know. You guys are literally the biggest niggers. And I personally, I don't care. I love this. See, I'm just being honest. That's all the thing. I don't have any intent. No.
You don't have any ill intent, but you wish that people would get on with the pogroms. And
I think people should actually put you in a gas chamber. Which they never did, but you were never put. We
were never put in a gas chamber, but we should have been. But they should have been put in a gas chamber. But they that was good. They should have. I pop out like a chicken.
Yes, but I wouldn't do that.
All right. Well, at least I'm not you.
But I wouldn't mind someone doing it. That's what I'm saying. Shut up. It's just like the Muslims. They don't jump around. But they don't mind someone else does it. It's exactly what it is. No, if you want to do it, you have to do it. Shut up. Exactly.
Yeah, you're being important. There's no evidence been there before.
I don't speak like Rabbi. I don't say
You have to grind their stock. Well, I'm like, I'm probably plus you just stanky ass tell me about how angry people are as I make money. How the fuck is that right?
No, like I didn't even say the things that you say. Like you said worse things than I've ever said.
I helped you build a home. That there should be gas. And led the
Rabbi, you're speaking really fast.
What I know
That's a sign that you're not in your right state of mind.
I think you're in no position to determine that.
You're very hungry today. Did you get cooked by?
You're like,
How am I angry? I'm telling you right now, I'm so happy about anything, right? What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? You're looking at Bitcoin? Well, it went down a little bit today, but that's fine. That's right. Chat, you guys are retarded. I'm just sick and tired of people wasting their time. You're not wasting my time. But you're wasting your time. I'm sick of it.
I might put some dry powder in the grinder stock.
You always buy high, sell low.
That's right, but I see on the chart, excuse me, on the chart, it looks like it's just like bottoming. There's like a bottoming structure with the inverse head and shoulder. This looks like an inverse head and shoulder.
I don't put on shoulders. This one's good for a scalp. This is the grinder stock is bottoming. Well, she's going to stop the bottom.
Wow.
Yeah, it like bounced sharply off the 6th or the level. I think that's like about. I think it's still good to be.
Not too much Lebanese. You can move up to like 24 easily.
My question is, why isn't there an app for each congressional district where the voters get to vote on whatever our U.S. Congress is voting on? If we're truly going to be represented, instead of sending someone to Washington,
Hello.
Shalom, go.
Hello. Okay, hold on.
It's now going to be a
Grab it. You're gonna go get it.
lobbyist.
I know.
Oh, man. How are you guys doing? All jokes aside, let's actually be good people for one second. Let's not talk about gas. No, the big gas. That's what I'm telling you. And if we actually gas them, then they'll actually be justified in saying it. That's what I'm saying. Is you have a self-fulfilling prophecy. You want to get it. That's why you behave the way you behave. I will hide you. I will hide you, but not at my expense. I can tell you this. I will definitely tell them some of you. So I would hide some Jews that I like in my basement, and I will tell on other Jews that they get their gas. Would you hide me? Yes, I would hide. But I'm not very upset up there. I would probably tell on him.
Well, I wouldn't hide you unless you were paying rent.
No, I would hide John. I would definitely hide John. This guy should survive at all costs.
Somebody wrote in my other room's chat, Diego blocked me. Lol, he really hates Abby and anyone that's associated with her.
So that's Diogenes?
I don't know. It's somebody named Mini9.
Mini 9?
Is it Diogenes? Oh, maybe it's Abby.
Probably.
Oh, I
Let's
don't know.
see.
That's strange. Abby is so retarded, dude. I'm sorry. That's strange.
If you think Abby's retarded, but you
Yeah,
can't.
I'm gonna double check. I gotta check out. You ain't got shit, nigga.
I gotta get to Tel Aviv.
You gotta get to Bossing. You gotta get to fucking Epstein Island.
He did block the DC9. That's one of the people.
Get to Epstein Island, nigga.
I can't imagine why somebody would dislike you guys and why you guys would dislike somebody else. I just don't
So
know
Mini
why.
9 is Abby's burner?
I have
You
no
don't understand well,
fucking idea.
Rabbi. You're not the most liked person either, John.
Oh, really? I'm wondering, if we were able to track my likes, if they've gone up or down, or if it's still the same. I'm wondering how I'm perceived. If I'm perceived
You're
better
perceived as
like.
totally the same person.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm saying
No, John, I hear a lot of people say that you're very high IQ on this app.
yeah, people. It doesn't matter to me what people say about me because my goal is to try to win this primary in March. But I gotta tell you, to continue.
You know that niggas like you will never be in Congress, right?
Oh, I agree. I don't think I actually have a chance of winning, but we're gonna give it our best effort regardless.
Yeah, go for it. But take pictures. Take a lot of pictures.
Yeah, exactly. That's part of the
like
campaign.
2 million to win a congressional seat.
Well, I don't know. Ventura won the governorship in Minnesota for 60,000 or something, or even less.
You know what? This nigger being in fucking Congress. That would be amazing. I wish I could vote for him, but I can't. But we can all say we actually know someone. We've been talking to someone in Congress. We've known him for 4 years. Oh, yeah. Who is it? Oh, it's the biggest, most retarded guy on Cookhouse. Yeah, look. It's not looking bright, son.
I don't think I'm the biggest retard on this app. Also, George Santos, who was on this app, did make it to Congress, but now he's in jail. So be careful. Be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you ask for.
Why are you appropriating black people?
I'm not asking for anything.
Why are you emotionally upset when I ask a question? But I'm also.
Well, I did learn the Jew is black, so it makes sense. Never mind.
She's also upset when people say gas the Jews when she literally was saying that they will be beheaded by ISIS when she was more crazy than elevated.
I do have another room open right now called Stupid Low IQ Potential Terrorists and Promoters of Islam.
So So the people that can't be in here are listening to you through that room. Got it.
Oh, I would love to have a promotion for a song.
I mean, if you don't want certain people in this room, you're gonna have to kick me out because I got no problem restreaming, live streaming, etc.
Well, clearly the meanie person was blocked and banned from this house by Diego.
What?
Oh, why did Grok get banned? Grok got what the fuck?
No, that's a fake screenshot, Rabbi. You don't believe everything you see on Twitter.
So we did get a big part of the campaign puzzle pieces figured out today. We got this antidote account set up and the checking account for the campaign set up. So very soon, I will be asking you all for $1 to $10 so I can.
No, that sounds fake.
So I can hire people.
Yeah, it is. Click on Grok. It's literally not suspended.
Well, maybe it's suspended for a second. I don't know. This is Pierce.
No, it's a fake screenshot.
But Pierce Morgan posted it, and there's another guy with videos.
Let's see. Pierce Morgan posted it?
Yeah.
Let's see. No, he didn't.
How's your CFA? How's your CFA education coming, Randy?
It was suspended.
I'm almost done with the financial statement analysis. It's taking me a lot of time.
When are you going to take the test?
I wasn't able to put enough time into it. I'm taking the test in February.
I hope you pass it.
Rabbi, Pierce.
I will pass, but the thing is, you need to be very good because CFA level 2 is anal.
Yeah, it's a very difficult test.
Level 2 especially is super anal. So you better know level 1, nigga. That's right.
Isn't that your specialty?
I like to give, not receive. In this case, I'm receiving.
I think it's going to be really funny, when you start your first CFA job, but then you get arrested for making terrorist threats on the internet, and people they're like, "Why did Randy get arrested?" They're like, "He was apparently had a double life where he was on the social audio chat for years, screaming about the Jews and N-words, and and they're like, well, where is he now?" They're like, "Oh, he's in a holding facility. They're deporting him to Jordan." And he's gonna be like, "I just passed the test. I just passed the fucking test. And this is how they reward me." It's gonna be so funny. You're gonna be in line at Reem Shawarma with a Fanta in your hand, and you're gonna be on Clown House still, talking to us while you're back in Amman getting a shawarma. You're gonna be like, motherfucker, and I'll be like, try to come to the U.S. and do something about it. Try to come back to the U.S. and do something about it.
I'll be an elevator. That's all I want. When I go down, I want to be an elevator.
Just remember, when you get in that elevator shaft, if you don't have thermite and all you do is cry and collapse on a suitcase, you're an ineffective terrorist.
You do know that prison is not so bad. If I go to prison, I'll probably convert all of them into Bitcoiners, number one, or Christians, number two. They're all going to become anarchists. We're going to have an amazing time. And I'm going to make a lot of friends in prison.
So I think a lot of people have this delusion about anarchy that they think it's something that could ever actually happen, but you do realize,
especially in prison, people have contempt of the government.
I know, but you got to realize that the system is set up in a way that anarchy just cannot survive because there's a lot of police and there's a political industrial complex, which.
You understand that in prison, they don't like government.
Oh, no shit.
That is the best place.
No shit.
Best place to preach Bitcoin, orthodoxy, and anarchy.
The funniest thing about Bitcoin preachers is they don't realize that it's a CIA invention and you're all just suckers.
It doesn't matter. Do you know by the time I'm out of prison, I'll be a multi-millionaire?
So, John, what happens to support this?
I saw a video of this fat software developer saying, "We got a call from In-Q-Tel and they wanted us to work on this cryptocurrency project called Bitcoin. And it turns out that In-Q-Tel is the VC arm of the CIA. So we were wondering, why is the CIA interested in cryptocurrency? Why is the CIA investing all this money into advanced technologies like the Enigma machine to make essentially secure communication and secure currency in the event that the Federal Reserve and Congress inflate the money supply to 37 trillion, to 50 trillion, to 100 trillion? It would be a good idea to maybe create a new digital currency." Hello?
It's a waste of time.
Ethereum, KGB coin, Bitcoin, CIA coin.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Oh man.
Hello?
I could have been a CFA. I could have been a portfolio manager. Now I'm in line at Reem Shawarma, fucking with a Fanta in my hand. There's a camel over there. There's like 30 cars queued up, spewing all this emissions into my face. Nobody's parked anywhere because they don't have any fucking parking spots, and I'm on. Motherfucking John Kitover! I'm coming back to America, and I'm gonna find you, Mr. Kitover. And I'm going to donate $1 to your campaign to elect John Kitover. Maybe I could get a green card to come back in and work at BlackRock for the Jews. You take a job working for the Jews in 10 seconds, you cheesy, cheap, Arab, kanafa-eating, goat-licking motherfucker. You would work for BlackRock. You would work for, who's the other one? Goldman Sachs in a second if they were paying you $400,000 a year. You hypocritical motherfucker.
I don't want to work for Jews. They don't pay their employees much anyways, and they don't promote you unless you're a Jew. And so why would I work for someone like that?
Well, you'll have to determine, who you're going to work for as a portfolio manager after you pass the CFA.
I don't have to pass the
Everybody got a couple hundred. Everybody got like 400,000.
I would like to have my own thing.
Yeah, everybody wants their own thing, but everybody who's a billionaire, did you know they made their money not with their own thing, but they made the seed money?
Yeah, but look at Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is objectively the biggest, the best. He is a legend. He's the best investor in the history of man, probably. Yeah. And the way he started wasn't by working for some company. The way he started was by getting the money of those he knows in his surrounding and making something out of it. And so, yeah, you need to work on in Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. You need to be on Wall Street, whatever. If you if you want people to actually say, hey, this guy has been pulling triggers. Or you could be doing it for those in your surrounding. Like in my case, I have my brother, I have my mother, I have my girlfriend.
Yeah, we know you're small time. Listen, somebody in the chat, Lane Lynn, wrote, they don't want to put me in because I talk truth. What an identity crisis, mental illness. These fake Jews suffer massive mental illness. He forgot to take his med. And then whoever this Mimi is or whatever they wrote, my trash bag had a crash out in Amir's room earlier. He needs your hypnosis, John Kitover, to regulate. So sad, you almost feel bad for the son of a Holocaust whore. He's scared of the little girl.
Where's name? She's my boo-boo. Ping around.
Jews slime. You will never be a real Jew. You've never
Why are you like this, Jew? Did you forget your medication again? I should well know. My precious dear, I like to suck baby dick and wait.
Wow.
What is it with the squeaky voice? Like, you never have like that. Hey, I used to look at Julian, and I'm gonna rape your kids. Because I'm about to rape your little boy.
It's amazing.
Baby dick suckers are funny. Baby dick suckers are funny.
John is trying to sound the harsh rabbi.
That octopus really fucked you guys up mentally.
Amazing PTR and amazing impersonation.
Diego, one of the people that complained to John that
We'll listen to each other.
No, this is Lane.
Oh my god.
This is some kind of demon spawn inside of Lane speaking right now.
The commies promised me the land 3,000 years ago. I love it.
This is literally like listening to Beelzebub or some kind of demon creature speak through the voice of a woman. Here we go.
Lovely song. Love that song. That's my shit. I take shit to that too, but.
What did you say?
John just saying, you know how you in your house? One of the people that was complaining to John that they came to make sure there has to be Abby's version.
The tunnels, under the tunnels, I love to suck baby.
Oh my god.
When you said the name, I went into the ones I said shoot it was one of the ones I said.
You losers do realize that anyone can get an anonymous account and listen to your stupid rooms. You do realize that, right?
We banned them.
No, you can't ban an anonymous unless you know the profile. And you can't know the profile unless you have anonymous, and then you can view who viewed you, if they view you.
How you raise your kids.
Well, John, figured out
I know, who cares? So fucking lame. Get a life, losers. And this is a message to myself too. I mean, all communication is projection. So like, if I call you a loser, but I'm hanging out with losers, I'm fully willing to accept the responsibility of being a loser. But I just hope you losers know, there's still the number one loser. There you go.
How do you deal with that? Fuck.
Lane, can you take a break for a second?
Okay, I want to ask you guys. I've never seen a Jew play sport. Why are you guys so nerdy? You guys are like Indians. You never play sports. You never wrestling. Why?
Well, I know. I asked this Indian guy. I know. I said, "Is your son gonna play any sports?" He goes, "No, man." He goes, "We do computer science." He's like, "We don't fucking play sports like you." It's like, all right.
I'm just saying, I've never seen a Jew play sport in my fucking life. Because you guys are raised that way. Your fathers are feminine. Your father is too busy in Thailand getting fucked by some Thai lady boy, right? And your mothers are narcissistic. And I feel sorry for you guys. Raised are fucked up, mentally fucked up the way you guys raise kids, right? I don't even think you love your kids. I don't even think Jews know how to love. Maybe that's why you guys are so mentally ill.
That's kind of true, yeah.
I mean, you do realize that that's all projection, right? Like that, what she just said is her life. I hope you guys realize that when you cast dispersions, that's your life.
Sound like it's projection.
It does sound like projection, exactly.
Just the way she's speaking.
Agreed.
Not what she's saying, but how she's saying it.
Go ahead, Lane. Tell us. Did you just tell the truth about yourself?
Shut up. It's true. Your women look like trainees and your men are faggots. It's true. Everyone knows this. Even the niggers know this. Everyone knows about you guys.
Diego, you not her? No, who's this
I know.
This is my boo-boo.
Why do you guys love niggers so much? It's because you guys are use them as minion pet slaves, to target people, right? You use niggers and Indians to attack whites, or attack your enemies, right? Because the only people you go align with is niggers and Indians. That says a lot about your people. I'm just saying. It says a lot about your people that only ones you have are niggers and Indians. That's sad.
Did you guys give birth to that thing? How did you create that thing? I never heard of that name before. You sick bastards. You projected your own demons into Lane, and you created a super demon known as Lane Lynn.
Oh, man. She's amazing. Just not checking the telegram, man. That should open up your telegram.
Good morning, Tel Aviv. So do you think Benjamin Netanyahu, do you think it's a feint or a bluff that he's not actually going to do a full security perimeter and take the whole Gaza Strip?
Diego's been saying that's been the quote from the beginning.
I think it's a bluff. I don't think they're actually going to go in there and...
He reads the Jews very well.
Well, she's asking me about mineral.
I think Netanyahu's bluffing.
Get that sweet.
I think Netanyahu's gaslighting. Actually, it's just like gaslighting. It's just a gaslight. But if I'm wrong...
You will get to meet her, Diego. You'll get to meet her.
But if I'm wrong, and Netanyahu does take the Gaza Strip and defeats Hamas, it's kind of like a Pyrrhic victory, or I was thinking it's like one of those things, just don't kill your enemy or you kill yourself. So it's if he wants to live longer, he should actually just, perpetuate and delay. Just a thought. You ever see that in the movies, how it's if you kill your secret twin, you kill yourself, Maybe it's too
Did you read the book, How to Kill a Mockingbird?
I think so.
Yeah.
Mockingbird? Yeah.
I watched the movie too.
I'm leaving now. Other people keep inviting me. She's inside. Well, you don't have to, nigga. So tell her nigga. Oh, that's it. Okay, so
Send her the link to the room, Rabbi. Why are you making it so complicated?
I just told her nigga.
You know what I like is that you guys use the N word so much only when there's no like N words in the room. So you know, what does that say about you that you're so cowardly that you like to drop it? I think you actually like to drop it more when you know that I'm here because I'm live streaming it, and it gives you like some kind of weird, you know, dopamine plus sign or something. What do you think?
Oh, it's to get you
I think cursing is classless.
That's to get you bad. Like when you say nigger, faggot, kike.
Got it. Well, anyways, let me know when you're back in Amman eating at Rim Shawarma. I would love to hear the experience live.
John, are you sending it to the FBI?
I would love to be a Rim Shawarma. Oh, so much love goes to Rim Shawarma.
No, I know a lot of Jordanians, and they never talk like Randy. Randy's actually trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, you know, he's not like total garbage. You know, he's not like on the park bench smelling like a homeless bum. He's trying to take a CFA.
What I want to know about Rabbi is if this is his real voice or not, or if he's
This
like
nigga
changed his
literally
voice.
told me to buy Walgreens, and then it went down 88% or some shit. What are you talking about?
I told him to buy Walgreens. It was a bad investment.
Yeah, he was telling me to buy it, then it went down to shit. Hey, I think he sold it.
I sold it. Yeah.
You sold it when?
I didn't lose much. Maybe 20%. I don't know.
That's a lot. That's okay.
Yeah, but not a lot when I was old. When I probably only had like a couple $100 in it.
Child.
Oh, child, things are gonna get easier.
Anyways, I hope you guys will come to the other room that Roger Mayhem, aka Mojo, will be starting soon. It goes on in 40 minutes. We will be reading in 5-minute intervals the Tao Te Ching, and then they're going to do.
Imagine that out of all the niggas, you choose.
Yeah, Roger Mayhem is helping me with my political campaign, so you know it's good to have smart people with money on your
I
side.
thought Lou was.
No, Lou is an AI schizophrenic loser, but he's more than happy. He's more than welcome to work on the campaign. I would love any of you to help me spam my campaign out. If you have an X account that you want to rebrand and change as a campaign HQ account, please tell me now or tell me in the future that you want to help me spam out my campaign, because this is all communication is spam, politics, and projection.
No, there's no projection. In these spaces, there's no projection except with rival side. That's right.
I know the Jordanians that I know, they would never speak evil of Jews. You know why? Because the Jews here in Chicago saved them from a lifetime of imprisonment for murder. The Jewish lawyer saved him, and forever he loves the Jews. So, just know who your friends are in your time of need.
Rabbi, is Lane the one that has the profile and will never be a real Jew? Is that her profile?
What? I'm not checking it right now. I'm not going to tell it's Lane. Oh, sorry.
She has in her profile, you will never be a real Jew. You have no ancestral ties. And it's really long.
She's got a sweet ass.
You know what? That might not be Abby, actually, the Mini 9. I don't know who that is. Because they wrote interesting. No, I don't think so. They wrote interesting perspective from the Jewish people about the current state of Israel at nonzionism.com. I don't think Abby would write that, actually, so I don't think it's Abby.
Let's try it.
So why are they in your room?
Because for whatever reason, like you said, you have this person blocked, so it's like moth to a candle. What do you mean? Why are they in my room? They're in my room because they can't listen to your stupid room.
You were right on the money, though.
I know, right?
Second, you did say already, you said you keep talking about the IDF in Israel. You said it like 5 minutes ago. I'm just telling you that you have deliberately targeting civilians, and you want to focus on.
So this is a question I have for the room. A lot of people, say Jews is Israel and Zionism, synonymously. My question to you is why can't you just think about it Israeli as an Israeli without attaching the word Jew or Zionism or Arab, etc.? Like, isn't an Israeli a distinctive and unique person?
Other than gay shit like Israeli, Jew, and nigger. Like we're here to talk about stocks and making money.
Exactly. You guys have such a waste of time. It's absurd.
What does that mean?
All right, the book reading room has started. So
Wow,
have a good
we're out
afternoon.
of time. We said we were going to wait till 1:15
for the
to answer. In his defense, we originally agreed 1:30 Pacific time. So when I moved it to an earlier time, he may have missed the signal. So, but John's here. Congressman, would you like to explain to people what we're doing today and perhaps take the liberty of reading the first verse?
Yeah. So welcome to a Mojo positive vibration experience organized by Mojo. I think because, maybe he agrees with my sentiment that not enough people are reading on this app and they're actually just having heated conversations and debate nonstop. And they're really primarily doing it for the dopamine creation effect. So to break that vicious cycle of dopamine addiction, there is this amazing external hard drive called a book. Some people have heard of it. It's pre-database, and it is a storage device of highly refined intelligence that some people spent their entire life experiencing to write that one sacred book. So today, from my book club to your book club, I think the Tao Te Ching is one of the smartest books ever read, ever written. And I talk about economics a lot, or the Federal Reserve and the national debt, and the optimization of our economy. To me, the best optimization is freedom, because I believe in the human brain as being the ultimate way to optimize. So this book to me is a lot about optimization. It's just such a phenomenal book because it touches on so many topics and it's so universal. The word Tao is synonymous with the word God. It's a 3-letter word. Tao is God, God is Tao. Many Christians may, find that to be, controversial or insulting, but I think when you actually read, as opposed to talking about a book like in a traditional book club, this is an active reading book club. So the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu he's a Chinese philosopher. He writes about governance, the government. He writes about economics. He writes about the soul, you could say, about nature, about the universe. It touches on everything. So I hope that's an interesting introduction for you. And welcome to In the Muff, the book reading room of the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu.
John, would you do the honors of reading the first verse, and then we will find speakers that want to recite verses 2, 3, and so on.
Should we go in order? People on stage?
Well, let's first of all, I want to make sure we have consent. Some people might not have known what we're doing here. I would just ask, just blink your mic if you want to be in the queue to read. Looks like David does, Kristen does, and I does.
I will add to go grocery shopping right now.
Okay, everybody does. Okay, then we'll go in PTR order, but we'll start with actually, why don't I do this? I'm going to moderate John, and then John's going to go. We're going to go through everybody else, and then if we have time permitted, my illiterate ass will try to get a verse in. So John, go ahead.
Okay, I just downloaded the PDF. If anybody here, let's all use the same document. So click above, download that PDF. I'm going to chapter 1. Here we go. So take the deepest breath of the day. This is the Tao Te Ching. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness, the gateway to all understanding. When people see some things as beautiful, other things become ugly. When people see some things as good, other things become bad. Being and non-being create each other. Difficult and easy support each other. Long and short define each other. High and low depend on each other. Before and after follow each other. Therefore, the master acts without doing anything and teaches without saying anything. Things arise and she lets them come. Things disappear and she lets them go. She has but doesn't possess, acts but doesn't expect. When her work is done, she forgets it. That is why it lasts forever. If you overesteem great men, people become powerless. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those who think that they know. Practice not doing, and everything will fall into place. The Tao is like a well, used but never used up. It is like the eternal void, filled with infinite possibilities. It is hidden but always present. I don't know who gave birth to it. It is older than God. Okay, those are the first four chapters or verses in the Tao Te Ching. If somebody wants to start at 5, how many do you want to read? 4, 5, 5 minutes each?
That's fine. Let's just go 4 each. David, if you want to read the next 4 starting with 5.
I'm ready. The Tao doesn't take sides. It gives birth to both good and evil. The Master doesn't take sides. She welcomes both saints and sinners. The Tao is like a bellows. It's empty yet infinitely capable. The more you use it, the more it produces. The more you talk of it, the less you understand. Hold on to the center. The Tao is called the Great Mother, empty yet inexhaustible. It gives birth to finite, infinite worlds. It's always present within you. You can use it any way you want. The Tao is infinite, eternal. Why is it eternal? It was never born, thus it can never die. Why is it infinite? It has no desires for itself, thus it is present for all beings. The Master stays behind. That is why she is ahead. She is detached from all things. That is why she is one of them, one with them. Because she has let go of herself, she is perfectly fulfilled.